Hey everyone, so this is video 3, the last and final video that I'm putting up today of my second semester choices that Evan-Moor Publisher sent me to walk you guys through. These are things that I'm actually using in my homeschool. If you check my IGTV videos, you know that I did a walkthrough of the grade 2 and we used that one last year in our second semester as well, and he did extremely well. We actually took that book all the way into the summer, and then he was done with it by mid-July, and then we just took a break from the reading comprehension. Now, my son reads a ton. He reads nonfiction, fiction books, science books, what you name it, he reads it. He just really loves to read books. But one of the things that I tend to make sure that I do with him to check his reading comprehension is I ask him about his books, or I have him do a reader's response journal with whatever he's reading. And now that he's getting into more influential people books, I'm starting to do more research-based writing for him. So I do a lot of verbal Q&As with him, as far as asking him what the book is about, asking him what parts did he like, what parts he didn't like, asking him about the characters. But there's some things that I know personally I don't ask him when I'm doing those oral Q&As. I don't ask him, what was the main idea? What was the plot? What was the setting? I tend not to ask him those questions just directly. He usually just constantly gives me a synopsis of what the book was about and just give me those little details about the book. But those are things that I don't tend to ask him. So that is where the daily reading comprehension comes in, because that is skills that I know that he's going to be working on in this book. So this is the daily reading comprehension grade 3. I did not go up a grade level, even though my son is a superb reader. I kept him at the grade level that was comfortable for me to let him be able to do the readings independently, so it wouldn't be like higher level questions. Even though I'm confident he would be able to do it, I just did not want to do that because I wanted to make sure that this was something that was not going to be discouraging to him, but basically it was comfortable for him to do. So, like all the other daily books, it runs Monday through Friday. Now, I will tell you, this is one book that my son does not say, okay, I'm going to knock out Monday and Tuesday today, Wednesday and Thursday. He does not do that. He does this day by day. And since this is a second semester resource that we will be using, he is just starting to work in this book currently. So I'm going to show you, he's already done week 1, and so I'm going to show you week 2. So there are 150 fiction and nonfiction passages in this book. There are 30 weekly units. This is the teacher book. I always get the teacher's book because I only have one student, and I'm able to either print out the teacher's pages from my teacher file box, or I just make a photocopy, or I just read from it before I give him the book. So if you do have 2 students, I highly recommend that you get the student practice pages for your second student and get the teacher edition for your first student, and just either make copies or just read from it and then give your first student the book. So in this one, this is the new edition. It has visual aids in it. So I love the fact that Evan-Moor is always updating their books to basically work with what your child may need. So this was really nice that they did do an update with this. So again, let's go ahead and walk you through it. And again, here are those student practice pages that I was just talking about. And again, this is the teacher edition. So if the cover looks like this is the teacher edition of the Evan-Moor book. So Evan-Moor always gives you a very detailed table of contents. This makes it easier for you to transfer these weeks into your planner or whatever you're using to track what your student is working on, or if you're not even keeping track, there's plenty of room here if you would like to write the date here of when your student is actually working on this, or if they're completed. There's all kinds of ways that you can manipulate this if you want. So for week 1, he was working on making the connections, visualization, organization, and then so on and so on and so on. And as you can tell, you're going to be working on all those reading comprehension skills, reading the main idea, compare and contrast, character and setting, and then there's fantasy versus reality. reality. So there's all those different literary terms and components that your child is going to be working on in this book, and as they continue to read the different books on their own, these are things that they will start to notice on their own, that this is a fantasy book or is this a reality book. So those are things that you really need to kind of continue to work on with your student as they progress in their education. So, as always, there's always in how to use the daily reading comprehension. And like I told you guys in previous videos, that I use a lot of the Evan-Moor books, and a lot of these books do complement each other. They tend to kind of line up really well with each other if you're using all the other components. And I did a review a couple weeks ago where I was talking about the homeschool planner with some of the books for that. And that is actually new this year. It's a homeschool planner. I'm so using that next year when we start out using our Evan-Moor for 4th grade. So again, here we have the weekly teachers pages. This is something that I do go over with my student. I do not hand him this book until I have gone over the teacher pages, because this is something that I want to have more control over of what he's doing. I tend not to do that with his daily science books, because he's really good about himself reading the teacher's pages, as well as the daily geography book, because it has all the vocabulary and things in it. Now, if he does have some issues in those other books, I do go into the teacher page and I do start working with him, especially if it's a topic that I know that's something new to him. But for this particular book, I do take full advantage of these weekly teacher pages. So here are the strategies, visual aids, and again, this is something that's new in this book. I actually have seen strategies and visual aids in some of their other books, but I believe with this one, this is something new in this particular book for this year. Here are your daily student pages, and again, they're very quick and to the point. The students get a little passage. They answer the questions. Here is your student record sheet. So there is a record sheet in here that you can use. Here is a comprehension strategies and skills. So basically here is a detailed definition of each of the skills that your student is going to be working on. So it keeps you in the know as your student is working. So if some of these things are new to you and you've never heard of them, especially if you're a first-time homeschooling parent or you're a Zooming parent who's doing virtual schooling and you're also supplementing with your student, I love the fact that there's always details in here so you'll understand what your student is learning. And again, here is your scope and sequence. Evan-Moor never forgets to include a scope and sequence in a lot of their books. I love this because it continues to let you know if those certain skills are going to circle back again. So that is something that you really can take advantage of. And then here are some nice little posters, how to be a good reader. Now, because Mama uses this book, this is something that I would go to my teacher file box and I will pull this down and make a copy of it. And I will put this in his folder for him to use because I don't want to tear it out of my own book. And so this is something with the teacher file book. You can always make a copy of this if you have that one student, and then you can insert it in there. Now, here are your visual aids for your book. There's the making the connection. So there's always a really nice way to connect with the student is learning about, and these visual aids provide that for them. So like I said, I've seen visual aids in some of their other books as well, but I do believe these new detailed ones in these reading comprehensions are new. So more visualizations of visual aids for your student, more information over here for your student to continue to work on those areas that they're working on. So these things right here, you can either slide those in your student's folder or you can put them somewhere safe so you can bring them out and you can use them to help bring that lesson home for your student. So I'm just going to flip through some of these so you can see them. And here's another one. And again, a student record sheet again right here. Sorry about that. So let me go ahead and get you over to lesson 2. So this is week 2. So this is where he is currently. So for week 2, he's going to be working on visualization. And then here we are. We have day 1, the breakdown of what we're going to be working on for that day. And as you can see, you see some grammar coming up here. Adjectives and verbs are going to be used in day 2. And then we just continue to read on what other things that you are going to be working on. This is a great key page for you in your planning process. Even if you don't write all this stuff down, or whatever you want to do with it, I tend to write down, okay, so we're going to be working on, in his reading comprehension on Tuesday, we're going to be targeting on adjectives and some grammar. So I know that in my head that that's something that when I look at his sheet that he needs to be continuing to review. And then this is how it is lined up. So here they read the passage, and then after they read the passage, they have some strategy practice here. Think back to the dog's action in the picture while you read. With a partner, describe a dog doing 2 or those actions. Again, it's just myself and my son. This is something that he will do with me. And then skill practice. Read the item and write your response. So now you have some reader response here that for day 1. And then on day 2, it's a whole nother passage for your student to work on, a whole nother different types of skills of continuing to practice that reading comprehension for visualization for that particular week. So all in all, these are some great books. It continues to work on those skills that your student is looking to work on. And so let's see. Let me flip to the back for you. And again, the answer keys are in the back. I don't take the answer keys out because, like I said previously, I don't have an issue with my son flipping back here, looking at the answer keys for anything that he's working on. And then here in the back, you have more books that they're working on. So there's the daily language review as well as the daily paragraph editing. Now, this is something that I definitely may get for him, the daily paragraph editing, because I think that would be a great add-on for this book. So this is awesome book for your student, and I believe this book starts in grade 1st and it will go all the way up until grade 8. So if you have those students that are looking for like your higher level students, this book does go up to grade 8, and as well as the reading comprehension fundamentals book goes up to grade 6. And we actually have this book, so these two books you actually can pair together when you're working in the daily reading comprehension as well as with the daily the reading fundamentals book as well. So those are two books that I have. If you're looking to look at the walkthrough of the reading fundamentals, it is here on my IGTV, so you can check that out. So this is my last video. I hope to see you guys again real soon. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, bye.